Hi everyone. I decided, oh my goodness, let's do a video. Let's do one real quick, a live one. Um, did you have a good Mother's Day weekend? It was my son's 22nd birthday on Saturday, and then Mother's Day weekend. So busy, crazy, all good, lots going on. So I'm exhausted. Good, but exhausted. And right now, the house is colder than it is outside. And I figured, you know what? Let's get outside. Let's get some vitamin D, go for a nice leisure walk, take you with me. Um, First stop, like I said, it's always about moving slow. So I'm like, why not look at my garden as it grows? My little flower garden. Ah, and it's back. Ah, I'm sorry about that. I have no idea. So we're gonna try this, see how well it works. Because it had to like disconnect for some reason, but you're gonna go for a walk with me. The sun is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh, so oh, I'm exhausted. The weekend was good, but I don't know about you. Sometimes when it's a lot of stuff over a weekend, like a holiday, a special occasion weekend, I do way too much. It's not a type of weekend for pacing. It is a type of weekend for just you go with it and you do what you need to do. And that's what I did. And I'm tired now. And I'm sitting here going, okay, I don't really have a chance to fully rest and recover. I'm not sore so much as I just need some time to breathe through it, if you know what I mean. Sometimes it's not that you're leaning into a pain flare, it's just that you need a chance to gather yourself. And that's what I'm doing. I am not jumping back into things. I am just taking a walk, a nice and slow walk, just to regather, especially since it's such a beautiful morning. Figured why not? And since we've been talking about pacing, and this is obviously not a weekend of pacing, it was more of a boom and bust. And oh my goodness, that's how I ate too. I ate to the boom and bust. I overate, and I'm feeling the effects of overeating. Good food, delicious, not altogether good for you, but delicious. And that's one of the things, like special occasions, holidays, those are the times when you go all in. They're not your day-to-day life. Those are the specials. So that's when you have your big desserts. That's when you have your big meals. That's when you sit there and you push through and you celebrate a little harder and you put on a bigger smile and you push through the pain a little bit more and you do a little bit more and you go up and down the stairs a little bit more than you usually would and you just you do more because it's a special occasion. Knowing that when the special occasion is over, you will have time to rest, recover, breathe, take your time, recoup, gather your strength to begin again. And that's that's how I do it. That's how I even see it. I mean, after all these years and all these decades, that's what gets me through. Is I know, yes, I push hard and I do it. And I'm like, okay, because, you know, my son's birthday, Mother's Day, my husband's birthday, these things, they're only once a year. Sometimes these things, they all happen. Like, seriously, my son's birthday, Mother's Day, now my husband's birthday is coming up. Sometimes they hit like boom, boom, boom. They don't they don't give me a time really in between to pace it out. It's not like I could do little by little, little by little. So it's like boom, boom, boom. It's boom or bust. And so I'm like, okay, I just got to go all in and know that once it's all done, I can take the time to rest, recover, breathe, recuperate, and begin again. And I do. And each and every time I get back at it and I keep going and I keep doing it. And that's the thing. Time and time again, I do. I keep getting back up. I keep getting back up. And I think that's the number one message I've always tried to tell new warriors is that I know it sucks. I know this pain sucks. Not trying to say it doesn't. I'm not trying to be dismissive. I know there's people who sit there and be like, you're dismissing how bad it is. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I've been there. It's the fact that I have been there. And having been there, I know time and time again, you just keep getting back up. And that is how you figure it out. That is how you get to live your life. You don't figure out how to live this life by staying down. You don't figure out how to live this life of pain by staying on the couch and crying about the pain and sitting there saying how hard it is and how it sucks and being miserable about it and watching all the videos about how it is the worst pain in the world. Yes, it's cathartic. Yes, it's good to know that you're not alone in it. And yes, oh my goodness, yes, it helps to know that it's not just you. But you have to know the answer is that you just keep getting up. That the way to make a life is you just keep moving. And as much as it hurts, and as much as it sucks, you figure out how to put one foot in front of the other, and then you take a break. That's pacing. You sit down. You then you do what you need to do, and then you get back up. You put a foot in front of the other, and then you take another break. You sit down and you rest, recover, then you get back up and you put another foot in front of the other and another foot in front of the other, and then you sit down again. And you keep doing that. And then one day you realize that all along you never stopped, that you kept moving forward, that as much as it sucked, as hard as it is, you didn't let it stop you. And I remember being in high school on crutches. There was a time when I was 17, I had a hall pass to let me safely walk the halls before the chaos of everybody, all the kids in the halls. So I would get out of class early and just a few minutes early. It's just long enough. It was supposed to be just long enough for me to get from one class to the next class. And this one day, the pain was so bad that I couldn't move. I was in the hall on my crutches and I stopped. And being in high school, a teenager, I wanted to cry. And the bathroom was nowhere near me. And I was too embarrassed to cry in the hallway. You know, what if somebody saw me? And so I stood there trying to stop myself from crying. And then the bell rang. And I realized, shit. So I maneuvered myself against the lockers so that I wouldn't get run over. And a couple of people who knew me, they saw me, stopped to ask if I needed any help. And because I was in so much pain and I wanted to cry, I'm like, no, 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 I'm okay. Just let us go. And after everybody got into their classes and the hallway was empty again, I was still in so much pain, I didn't want to move. And I had one thought in my head that I wanted to sit there. I wanted to stop. And I knew I couldn't. As much as I wanted to sit on the floor and just stop, I knew I couldn't because if I stopped like that, I wouldn't be able to get back up. And it was so scary to have that realization that if I stopped like that, that I couldn't get back up, that I wanted to cry and I was too embarrassed to cry, and that I just felt like I couldn't keep moving, and that if I sat down, I wouldn't be able to get back up. And so I gave myself a pep talk and I said, what are my options? What can I do? And I thought about where my next class was, and I realized I had to go to the nurse's office and go home. I had to go. I couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't continue going to class, not with that type of pain. And I don't even know how I gained the strength, but I started walking again. And I got myself to the nurse's office and I told them I just needed to rest and that I needed to go, that I was in too much. And by then, it took me so long to get there. And understanding how far away the nurse's office was, which wasn't really that far from where I was, but how far and how long it took me, it was just, it felt, it felt like I walked a mile, and it took me probably like 15, 20 minutes to get there. But that was when I learned a lesson But no matter how much it hurts, eventually you just gotta keep putting one foot in front of the other and take your rest as you need it. And that was when I was 17, 18, and I was diagnosed. I started this pain at 17. So it was when I was like 17, 18 years old when this happened, when that moment on crutches happened. And it was poignant, it stayed with me. It was like the hardest, most biggest life lesson I ever had. And that's why when I tell other warriors that it's possible to live this life, to really live this life and have a beautifully blessed life. And no, it's not simple. No, I'm not saying it is. It is this horrible pain. But it really is. You just gotta put one foot in front of the other. And I'm sorry right now, I'm gonna go buy a lawnmower. So it's loud. Give me a minute. Now, the thing is, this loop, I'm gonna be walking past him again in just like a couple of minutes. So, so I apologize. But, when it's beautiful out, people take care of their lawns. So it gets loud. That's life. It's okay. Oh, all right. So enough with the heavy. Oh my goodness. Let me hear from you guys. I am looking for some feedback. I want to hear about hobbies. Um, about, oh my gosh, I think it was 2 months ago now. I did some videos about the importance of hobbies for our dopamine. And I know I talked to Kat about her comedy videos and how she's going to start doing more because they really do lift her spirits. And I love them. I love it when I see her doing them. And I want to hear about other people's hobbies. I am all good and fine about talking about my own hobbies. And I know you guys love it when I talk about cooking and my recipes. And I love hearing the feedback about my plants. But come on, people, share with me your hobbies. And yes, I know the pets. And I don't know. I think a lot of people get shy about what hobbies are because we've become such a workforce orientated life that we've stopped thinking about joy. And the thing is, especially when you have chronic pain, you need to embrace joy. I mean, it's not a silly mindset trick. It really is science. That's why I did a video about it. That's why I've shown you my research on it. It's science. Like neuroplasticity, neuroscience, dopamine. You trigger your own natural hormonal response when you pursue your hobbies, when you pursue joy. And that is like, if you are struggling with chronic pain and you are just sitting there in so much pain and wondering why you can't get out of pain, you need to embrace your hobbies again. It is really, it is something so silly, simple, especially since it helps layer in your OT, PT, it helps layer in all these things that will then help you get back into living life. I mean, let's face it, that's the whole pacing thing. By embracing your hobbies, you are once again practicing pacing, and hobbies ties in with both doing your activities, which we will be pacing, and in a way, you can also do part of your hobby as your rest and recovery. So, depending on the type of hobbies you have, like gardening for me is that's a physical, so gardening will be my PT, OT type of hobby. And then when I sit down to rest and recover, I will listen to music and do my other crafting creativity side, which is then I'm layering in my rest recovery with other hobbies. And so you get to layer in all of these things, and that is how you get to live this beautifully blessed life. And that's why I want to help people, is because I have learned in these almost 30 years of living with this, I've learned these tricks. I've learned how to do this. And no, it's not easy. It is hard, which is why you need help. I had to learn how to do it the hard way. You don't need to learn how to do it the hard way. You can contact me and you can have help. So you don't have to figure it out on your own. Or you can just follow these videos and use this as your guide to figure it out on your own, honestly, and then just reach out to me with questions because I'm here to help. So, no matter what, you can figure it out on your own by following these videos and asking questions. Hold on, lawnmowers. That's kind of cool. Or you can contact me and have me help you with a personalized plan, and I will guide you. And literally, we can formulate what it is for you with your pain, your personal life, understanding everything. I mean, so I'm just saying you don't have to do it alone. You can watch these videos, reach out with questions. You can reach out and ask me for a guided plan, and we can work together. Either way, my whole thing is we are meant to be in community, not to be alone. I had to do this stuff alone. I had to figure it out alone. I don't want anybody to do it the way I did it. And the thing is, it's so possible. I mean, you've just taken this walk with me. I've told you the story about when I was 17 and how hard it was for me back when I was on crutches and I wanted to stop walking. I wanted to give up. I wanted to like just sit on the floor. I was in so much pain. And I have so many stories of when walking became unbearable. Where standing, not even walking, standing was unbearable. Story, I can tell you so many, there was so many times, there was so many years in the beginning where my pain was just too much. I have gone through procedures and surgeries. I have those stories. Passing barking dogs. They're good guard dogs. And when I do help people talk, when I talk to people about pain management treatments, I don't tell you what medications to take, what treatments to pursue. I do go over options with you because that's all out there. I will help you figure out what's best for you. What's best for me might not be best for you. Hands down, I understand spinal cord stimulators could be scary for you, just like medications that I take aren't for everyone. I mean, I understand that. The spinal cord stimulator that is letting me walk the way I am walking, the medications I take that help me manage my pain. All of this is true, but it's not for everyone. Because I've known other warriors that have had this as long as me, or longer than me, or not as long as me, that have tried similar treatments, that it didn't work. So, or that it did work until it didn't. That's why I don't tell people, yes, you need a spinal cord stimulator because they're awesome, because it worked for me. No. Yes, spinal cord stimulators work for me, but it's not perfect. However, you can't deny we've been on this walk, and this is an early spring walk. You should see me at the end of summer. I really move and swim. So it's one of those things. You have to take it and understand you are an individual. You have your own life. You have your factors. You have literally, your pain is unique. Your individual lifestyle is unique, which is why I will help you figure out you, what's best for you. I will just lay out the options. I'll also help you. You know what I don't like? Too many people don't understand the medications they take and what exactly they should be feeling, the benefit they should be feeling from it. Like, doctors prescribe the medication and tell you, okay, it should help you with your pain, but they don't explain how. So, just because it's supposed to help you with your pain, that's like saying Tylenol and ibuprofen should help reduce your fever. Yeah, but it, they both work differently. And understanding the science, I think when you're a chronic warrior, Doctors need to help patients understand the science more because no matter what, it doesn't matter what our capability is for science. Once you become a chronic warrior, you have to start understanding science. And I hate science. I sucked at science. I am. I am one of those people that I love my liberal arts. I am a creative thinker. I excelled in the choir room. I excelled in language arts. That was my areas of expertise. Science and social studies and math? No. It wasn't until I realized that I that the spinal cord stimulator was not going to be like a once and done perfect answer for me, that I realized I had to stay on top. Because, yeah, when I was 21 and I had the spinal cord stimulator implanted, I thought, oh, okay. Because my doctors all said, okay, you're done. Yeah, actually, my doctors, like, stopped seeing me once I got my spinal cord stimulator implanted. That was 1999, by the way. But yeah, everybody cut me off. So I thought, okay, I'm good. Don't need a doctor. I'm just going to manage it with this implant now. And then when I had my son and it stopped working and I had to go back to the doctor and find out, well, yeah, don't you know? Because they couldn't say it's safe to have a kid and they couldn't say it's not safe to have a kid. So it's because, they couldn't do a study on it. So it was like, do what you want to do. So yeah, the pregnancy strain pulled the wires out of the IPG, and so I needed a surgery to repair and replace. And then after that, the it didn't work. It slid. So yeah, that's why I said it's not a perfect science. It makes me walk. It's literally the science that helps me be able to walk, but it's not perfect. And so when my husband and I were going through all of those surgeries and needing to go back to the doctors and needing to find a new pain management doctor, oh man, that was a headache. Because then, after having a spinal cord stimulator for so many years, my RSD CRPS symptoms had looked like remission. So a doctor wouldn't see me because they couldn't diagnose me because to them it didn't look like I had anything, even though I had an implant in me. And so that was another headache to find a doctor who would treat me for CRPS, even though I didn't look like I had CRPS. So yeah, that was a headache. And I realized I had to stay on top of it. So that was when I started digging into the science. And it was actually at that time that Germany was doing the ketamine coma. And I was like, whoa, what is this? By the way, yes, back then, back in the early 2000s, ketamine infusions weren't a thing. It was ketamine coma In other countries, primarily like Germany and Mexico, they were putting CRPS, right? I think we're still recording. So yes, they were putting us in comas for 3 to 5 days, and patients CRPS with full body, intractable, like full body CRPS, pain that wasn't responding to any other type of treatment. They were walking out of the hospital unassisted. They were pain-free basically and fully mobile, like except for obviously they had no muscle tone. I mean, obviously, if you've had full body CRPS, you weren't walking on your own, so you had no muscle tone. You had all that atrophy. So, ketamine comas, though, had nasty side effects because, I mean, it's a drug-induced coma. Man, I gotta tell you though, there's times where I was watching those studies and I was a little jealous because I was remembering back before my spinal cord stimulator and how much pain I was in and how I was only getting a handful of days of pain relief from my blocks. And I was in so much pain. And I thought back to those days, and then I thought to that ketamine coma, and I was like, how nice would that be to be put to sleep for 3 to 5 days and to wake up without any pain? And these people were like, their pain relief was lasting for like a year, 3 years. Like, I mean, that was the longest that the research study was lasting. So these people were having full body symptoms. And I was just looking at it going, oh my God. But we have the very watered down version because FDA said, oh no, those side effects are way too scary for us. Because, they were scary side effects. But our FDA was like, nope, 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 nope. Those side effects are way too scary, so we're going to do the very watered down version. So we have the watered down version here, which makes people dependent on the infusions, which aren't even really covered by insurance. So people are paying out of pocket for treatments that are going to be lifelong. And they're willing to do that because spinal cord stimulators are scary and nerve blocks don't always work. And that's, I mean, that sums up our treatment options a lot of the times. But the thing is, if you're in your first year and you really crack down on that physical therapy and the medications and those blocks, and you just really, really in that first year, you really do all three and you work on your mindset because mindset really does, you might hate me for saying it, but mindset does play a role in this. It has very strong indicators. It's not psychological, it is neuroscience. People, you don't even understand. You could actually have a greater chance of real remission and real recovery if you just put one foot in front of the other and you talk to someone and you have real help in the first year, maybe even 2 years. It's the critical time frame. So instead of the wallowing self-pity, which I totally understand because I lived it, I've lived it. Yeah, and that's why I became a life coach because I know how to help and I want to help however I can. So, all right, I'm almost out of battery. I'm down to 15%. And so this is the clubhouse. Let's start heading back home. Like I said, it's a beautiful day. I don't even know how long this walk was. I just like literally, I didn't time it or anything. So I know I said enough of the heavy and then we got heavy again. Uh, you know what? I want to ask about coloring because I used to color and then I stopped coloring. And I know a lot of people, it's a very sedentary but therapeutic hobby. I I know it was the reason why I don't color anymore is because emotionally I go back to those years in the beginning when I could not move, when I was recovering and I physically could not walk. I like really, so emotionally coloring to me is that time period when I couldn't move my body. And when I had my kids, guess what? My boys don't color. Oh, so like, and when I say they don't color, I mean they suck at coloring. They can be very crafty. Like, give them cardboard and duct tape, and they can create amazing things. But hand them some colored pencils and a coloring book, and no, or even just paper. Like, no, my son Gabriel, he can draw. He just is very much more digital art drawing than actual pen and paper, which he could do pen and paper and he used to do pen and paper. He's just not very disciplined, I guess is the nicest way I can think of saying it. He doesn't like to like just sit and draw nicely. He likes drawing his cartoon, his digital animated characters for his games, which honestly is really cool. So I often will share his stuff because he's going to be a game designer and not the classic video game designers that you see everybody wants to do nowadays. Everybody is a video game designer nowadays. No, he's not a video game designer. Yes, a little bit because that's what the market is. But his true passion is he wants to make classic card games like the kinds that he played, the kinds from the 80s, you know, kids played from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Kids played card games. That's what he wants to do. Card games, little free. Oh, so I'm back home. It's been a pretty good long walk. Oh, I'm gonna be, well, after today, today's the last nice day for a while. It's going to start raining soon. So hopefully this coming weekend I'll have some time to play around in my garden. But I don't have much to do. I just have to dig up and put in some seed. I have some flower seeds I need to dig in. I have marigolds because my son Lucas loves marigolds, and he actually prefers orange marigolds, which when he was little is when orange marigolds were his favorite. And now that he's older, I think he understands orange for CRPS awareness. But when he was little, it didn't cross his mind, but now that he's older, it does. But so I have to put in the seeds for the orange marigolds, and I have sunflower seeds I need to put in so that they'll start coming up. I have sunflowers that go over to the other side. Oh, but yeah, see, gardening is my hobby for my physical therapy type of activity. And then I get to do my sedentary type of hobbies that, you know, so you keep fueling, you layer it in. So you have the rest downtime is still therapeutic. And and I wanted to ask, how many of you journal? And there's different ways of journaling. And that's why I wanted to know how many of you journal. Um, just random. I know I'm gonna get into it in a video down the road, but I wanted to just start getting that concept, the thought process in your head. I'm walking towards the backyard because I'm almost out of battery, but I forgot how my husband had it set up because he had to cut the grass this weekend, so I wanted to see how it looked. But yeah, I wanted to see how everybody is journaling. If, like, if you journal every day, if you journal every other day, do you journal with prompts? Do you, if you have pain in your hands, you probably have a hard time journaling. But did you know you could dictate a journal? And it's like so awesome because there's, the handy phone apps. And it, so yeah, I'm gonna do a video and talk to all of you about journaling. But I wanted to, see how all of you feel about journaling. All right, I do have to go inside and charge my phone because it's now at 7% and it's gonna start dying more rapidly. So I look forward to talking to you all soon. Have a good day. Bye.